Disclaimer: this story is entirely fictional and created solely for entertainment purposes. All characters, events, and descriptions in this video bear no connection to real people or incidents. All images and scenes shown on screen are created using computer graphics and have no relation to reality. This video does not contain any calls for violence, cruelty, or promotion of harmful actions. Viewer discretion is advised, and the video is recommended for audiences aged 18 and older. The Mad Doctor's Laboratory, in the center of town, where life once thrived, stood an abandoned 5-story building. Its windows were dark and hollow, its doors boarded up long ago. At night, strange sounds could be heard, soft knocks or creaks, as if someone was inside. Locals avoided the place, calling it the House of Pain. But 3 friends, Max, Tom, and Kevin, decided to test the urban legend. Drawn to mysteries, the desolate house seemed the perfect destination for a nighttime adventure. Armed with flashlights and a phone, they crept through a hole in the wall at the back. Inside, the air was stale, filled with the stench of dust and decay. Broken furniture and graffiti-covered walls gave the place an eerie, unsettling vibe. Max, the bravest of the group, led the way, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. "This is all nonsense. Nobody's here," he said, though his voice trembled. Tom flinched as a metallic sound echoed from upstairs, like a door creaking open. On the 3rd floor, they stumbled upon something strange. A faint yellow light spilled through an open door. Inside, they found a room that looked like a grotesque laboratory. Surgical tables were stained with dark smudges. Shelves held jars filled with strange, unrecognizable objects. Rusty hooks dangled from the ceiling, casting long shadows on the walls. On one shelf sat what looked like severed ears and eyes preserved in cloudy fluid. Max whispered, "Is this a doctor's office?" Heavy footsteps echoed behind them. Turning around, they saw a figure in a tattered white coat. His head was wrapped in blood-stained bandages covering his eyes, and he wore a surgical mask. He dragged one leg as he walked, creating an unnerving scraping sound. "You shouldn't have come here," he said, his voice low and menacing. In his hands he held surgical tools, faintly glinting in the dim light. The doctor's chilling story began to unfold. He was once a celebrated surgeon, known for his steady hands and brilliant mind. But a tragic mistake cost him his career, his family, and his sanity. He had stolen an ambulance and begun abducting people off the streets. "Humans are just bodies, to be improved, experimented on, perfected," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. Tom noticed a paper on the corner of a table, a list of missing people, complete with photos. The horror of what they'd stumbled upon began to sink in. Max grabbed a metal pipe from the floor and swung at the doctor, but the man, despite his apparent blindness, moved with precision, dodging effortlessly. "I've trained in hand-to-hand combat since I was a child," he said, easily overpowering Max and throwing him to the ground. Kevin, in a burst of adrenaline, smashed a chair into the doctor, causing him to stumble. That moment of chaos gave them the chance they needed to escape. The boys dashed down the stairs, their panicked breaths echoing in the darkness. Behind them, the sound of the doctor dragging his leg filled the air. They burst out into the night, the cold air hitting their faces as they stopped to catch their breath. Turning back, they saw him. On the crumbling edge of the 4th floor, the doctor stood, slowly waving at them. "How can he see us if his eyes are bandaged?" Evan whispered, his voice trembling. Max didn't answer. His face was pale with terror. When they told the police, their story was dismissed as nonsense. Officers investigated the house, but found nothing. The rooms were empty, with no tools, no jars, no blood. Yet the smell of disinfectant lingered in the air, and faint scratches were visible on the floor. Max, Tom, and Kevin swore never to speak of that night again. But deep down, they knew. The doctor was still there, waiting in the shadows for his next visitors.